Hello everyone, and today we have decided to take the term of become a mole person a little bit literally, and we have transformed into a mole where we are just going around digging up some dirt in hopes that we can improve ourselves, see what's down in the mine, and just generally do what a good mole does. Came away from that run with 6 dirt. There are a couple of other currencies that we'll get into later, but with that 6 dirt, we can start digging. We do have a few upgrades available to start with, a bit of extra fuel or 20% more damage, and because of how long these do take at the start, I am going to upgrade that 3 times, so we went from 2 to 3.5 damage. I'm not entirely sure that that's going to make it much quicker, but it is down to 3 hits at 3.5. We probably only need about 10 damage to make this one-shottable rather than the 3-shot it is. And if you've seen anything before, you do know I am quite partial to maxing out our damage as quickly as possible, just because everything then gets quicker. We did just get a new currency, being this weird metal ingot, which we don't really have anything that we can spend on because our first one does require us to use 5 of those, but we are currently able to 2-shot the dirt blocks that we come across. But we do currently have the problem on the starts like this one, where we are just going to absolutely hemorrhage fuel without being able to break through them, because the stone is still so strong. Even with our near enough maxed out damage, we're just not even really denting it. So I'm thinking we're definitely just going to finish off our damage upgrade, which we are pretty close to. One more and then we should be able to one-shot these. And once we've done that, we'll be in a better place to actually see what other upgrades are hidden around, because we can now afford it. So everything else from here is just going to be bonuses for us. And that is our damage up to 10. We are going to use the rest of it to increase our fuel. So we'll go from 10 to 20 fuel. And seeing how easily we're burning through these, not really taking much fuel when we're just digging dirt. The stone is another thing entirely, but we're going to gain so many more dirt from this just because of how easy this is now is to break, that everything else is just going to be so easy for us to buy, because with that 17 we can get our fuel up 20 to 35, and we'll make it so that we can see a little bit further using our metal. Look at how much space is here, and we're just going to go again and pull in as much dirt, because that is the currency that we really need to care about at the moment. It's definitely going to be worth us just when we got layers like this, just going side to side, picking up as much as we can. And because of how easy those blocks are to break now, we did come away with 49 dirt, which we can use to get our total gas from 35 up to 60, and we can add in just an extra 50% movement speed. I don't really feel like we were particularly slow, but you know, it can't hurt. But we do now have to try and get through all of this stone that's in our way, and it's still absolutely hemorrhaging our fuel. So we are going to have to see what else we can do to reduce the fuel cost when we're drilling into stone. But we are going to grab as much metal as we can on this run, so we did come away with 6 metal, which we can use to further increase our miner vision. And we do have an upgrade up here that lets us preserve 10% of our fuel whenever fuel is used. So that might be the one that's going to be worth prioritizing, because it's also not particularly expensive. So if we get a good run where we can just burn through dirt like this one, we should be able to very quickly max out that upgrade, because with this 60 fuel we're going to get so much. We are also going to grab these metals that we do see here. It is a bit of a fuel drain, but with 60 fuel it's not really going to be that worth us ignoring them. It's nowhere near as bad as running into a full layer of rock, because that just chunks us. And with that we did come away with 58 dirt and 4 metal. We haven't actually maxed out our full drill damage, so we will get that up the extra 20% just to finish it off, and then put the rest in to get our fuel preservation up to 1.6, which does unlock just another fuel preservation next to it. We do have some other things that we might look at buying next, so we'll take a look at those when we've got some more. I'm wondering if that 12 damage is now enough to one-shot the stone, which isn't. It is still a 3-shot, so not something that we're particularly going to try and dig our way through if we can avoid it, because it is still, I think anyway, more fuel efficient to just get through as much dirt as possible and try and avoid the stone. Using that, I think we're going to add in some critical hit chance, a nice 15%, because it does give us 1.5 damage. It does give us 1.5 damage instead. So if we get a good crit chance, we will be able to one-shot the stone. But I do kind of want to grab this ore, because we haven't managed to get any yet. We did just get our first crit as well. It had the gold spark marks around it, just to very easily let us know that it was happening. So we came away with 70 dirt, 3 metals, and 2 gems. But what I've been thinking while I was doing that is we're preserving fuel whenever fuel is used up to 1.6. Do we think that we're going to be able to get that to a point where we're actually gaining fuel when we're digging dirt? I think we're going to use our gems to increase our critical hit damage up to 2.2 times, add in a bit of a dynamite throw, and then put the rest on our crit chance and movement speed. I do want to go back and get more fuel preservation afterwards, but I kind of want to finish off our crit hit chance first and then see if we will get the fuel back when we do that. We have started getting the dynamite throws, and we've had 2 so far, which we haven't managed to catch because I'm very slow at what I'm doing. There's a 3rd one, but they're not actually as strong as I was expecting them to be. It did make it so that we could one-shot that ore, but at the same time, I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit bigger. I'm assuming we're going to have a good few upgraded in a way that lets us improve that, and it's going to do some absolutely disgusting things later on. But preferably we want it to actually hit the areas we can mine and not the locked areas to our side. Yeah, we have just got back to our blue again, but we are nowhere near enough fuel remaining to actually even try it. That was 83 dirt with another 3 metal, which we can use to finish off our drill hit chance and get an extra 20% fuel preservation. We'll give ourselves that little bit of movement speed again just to max it out, but we are getting a good little way through this skill tree. I did go and get 171 dirt and 7 metal just so that we can hopefully finish off our still a hybrid upgrade, which we did. So we do get 2.6 fuel back whenever fuel is used. We can use our metal to decrease time between our dynamite throws, so it's down to every 9 drill hits instead of 10, and we can also increase our visibility up to 80 blocks, and I think increase the amount of drill hits per second by 15%, so we're up to 1.2 hits per second, up from 1. Not the biggest upgrade ever, but I feel like that will add up over time, and as you can see, the area is now wider, so we should be seeing a lot more dirts and easy to access ores for us to get. These gold ores are definitely still quite difficult for us to break through, especially when we get a dynamite that knocks us out of the way, but it does seem to take about 5 hits for us to break them in comparison to the normal stone, which if we get a crit is 1, but normally 2 hits, 3 for the or 3 hits, I should say, but definitely significantly slower when it comes to the gold one. That was 84 dirt, 11 metal, and 4 gems. Can use to again increase our crit hit damage up to 5.1 times damage, give ourselves a bit of an overdrive, and up our drill hits per second by another 5%, and use our metal to increase the overdrive energy. Overdrive, I'm assuming, just kind of makes us go faster. I don't really know. I'm going to let that build up for a little bit and then see what it does. So we are just about to max it out, so the overdrive does just drill significantly faster. Not sure how worthwhile an upgrade that was just yet, but I assume that the more upgrades we put into it, the more energy we give it, the better it'll be. It does just seem to use the hits that it would normally take a few seconds to do instantly, so it is fine, but definitely not so helpful when we can one-shot the blocks at the top and the ones at the bottom just take so much damage. Thinking to start with, we're going to max out our drill hits per second up to 1.3 per second and use our metal to drop that down to 8.1 drill hits every time a dynamite goes off. It's only got one more upgrade, which is 14 metals. We're going to try and get that nice and quickly, because getting that down to 7.3 hit will be quite a big upgrade. But looking around, we are definitely going to want to try and prioritize getting either ores or gems, because there's not much left that uses dirt, and the ones that do seem to cost a lot. But we do have this one here that we can get that will give us a chance to triple any resources. So while we are going to prioritize digging around for the ores, getting dirt is going to be still something we're going to try and do just for that upgrade specifically. Being able to use the overdrive just to get the ores actually does seem to make this a lot more bearable, because we just shred through them, so it is a less painful thing to collect, but at the same time, wow, do we need more damage. And that run got us 70 dirt, 15 metal, and 4 crystals. The 70 dirt we're going to use to give ourselves a 10% chance to triple any ores. The crystals we'll use to increase our drill hit damage while in the overdrive, and we use our metal to reduce the throw dynamite cooldown down to 7.3 drill hit per dynamite. We do have more damage over here, but that is 200 dirt it's hidden behind, so that might be a few runs for us to get it, and it might be worth us releasing a periodic quake first, so trying to grab the shockwave or more fuel, depending on if we have the metal available. I don't think that dynamite upgrade works how I thought it did, because it doesn't seem to be consistent. 7, 8, 9, 10. Because it still seems to be doing it every 10 hit rather than the 7.3 it said. I'm going to have to reread that to see. Interesting. Do we think I've read it wrong, or do we think it just doesn't work? We'll let you be the judge of that after I reread it. We do now have a total of 200 dirt, 47 metal, and 11 diamond. It does say that it throws it every 7.29 drill hits, but we have realised that is a lie. It is still 10. So future me's probably deal with that. We are going to use the 200 to get another 20% damage in hopes that we could break through the stone quicker. I'm not sure that was a good idea, but I've already done it now. And we're going to max out our overdrive energy up to 16 and increase the amount we get every second up to 1.1. When we don't crit, it does still take 2 hits to destroy the normal stone, and the gemstones are still 3 as well, but it feels a little bit better. I don't know if it's much, but you know, any little increase is gonna feel good as we go on. We did get enough that we can add the shockwave as well, which can also be upgraded to increase the stones we're getting. So I'm going to assume that one's actually meant to be stone, not dirt. But we shall see once we collect 150. And I'm hoping that the shockwave happens fairly often, because it was quite an expensive upgrade. Oh, wow. That does a lot. That does an awful lot. So is there going to be a consistent amount of hits it takes afterwards? Or do we think it's just random so far? Doesn't seem to be a consistent between the dynamite based on drill hit. Maybe it's to do with actual time. These blues still take an insane amount to break through. Definitely going to keep avoiding those for the time being. We've got 145 dirt and 14 metal. It's just shy of getting us the +1 stone from all sources, but we'll increase our chance to triple any resources gained up to our 15%, and we'll add in more overdrive energy per second, again in hopes that that feels. So we can now afford to get that upgrade, but it doesn't actually tell in the shockwave description what causes it to happen. So I think it is just a random upgrade. So we are going to spend our, what turns out to be iron. We're going to spend our iron to upgrade our overdrive energy regeneration up to 1.2. And then we are looking like we're going to have to go for either the gas or the damage. And I'm thinking damage first because, you know, more damage is always fun. So we got a ton that time with 300 stone and 32 iron. I am just going to go back to calling that dirt ore because it makes more sense to me rather than changing partway through. But we're going to use that 300 to increase our damage up to 17.8, and we'll use the ore to increase its own production up by +1 as well. We do only need another, probably about 1500 to max out our drill damage, and probably only about 60 ore to max that one out as well. So it shouldn't actually take that long for us. And I'm hoping that we can now, so close to being able to just one-shot the stone. I'm thinking that might be the point that we stop upgrading our damage for a bit, when we can one-shot all blocks that we consistently get to. It makes sense to me that that's where we'd want to prioritize a few other things. And here we have enough to up our damage from 17.8 up to 25.7 and max out our augment iron. I did use basically everything that we've got available at the moment, but we're not far off being able to see some of the... We've got a few stragglers that we're going to want to prioritize next, so we are going to try a bit of a dirt run, but it shouldn't be that difficult for us to get there with this insane amount of power we now have in our little mole hand. We do seem to now be able to consistently one-shot the stone block, so we don't really need to up our power again just yet. We can prioritize a few of the other upgrades. Obviously that doesn't affect the ore block. They do still take a little bit more damage. Same time, that's not that big of a problem just yet. It's more annoying that the overdrive doesn't use our actual drills damage and has its own, but it also doesn't use fuel, so I haven't decided whether I like that very much right now, but we'll keep thinking about it and come back to that. But it does seem alright when you're digging through ores, just because I like the noise it makes, really. That's kind of my only defense. That was another 400 dirt and a load of ores, so we can increase our amount of stone production and increase our total fuel by 30%. That is 500 ore, but it is a lot, so I don't know whether they're actually available yet. We'll see when we get 500 of them whether it lets us buy it. I have, in my infinite ability of not paying attention, only just noticed that it tells you down here when the shockwave and dynamite's about to go off. So I could be looking at that and being like, oh, I need to be somewhere sensible sensible for when that happened. I just haven't been because I didn't notice it. We could have gained so many more resources, but I'm going to tell you now, that isn't going to change. While I know that is a thing now, there is no way in any life my little mole man is going to pay enough attention to efficiently use that. I'll just hope it happens in a useful time. I think we kind of want a fuel stone so that we can just get some more fuel as we're going through. Just a random block we can dig through. We'll max out our damage, add another 30% fuel, and we are about halfway to the ore we need for that upgrade. So I don't think it's actually going to take us that long to finish. But Iron Bonanza, if we can get 500 dirt. Oh, are we feeling sensible enough to go for that first? I think we have to be fair. But we did get a fuel block then. I don't think we needed it when we took it, but you know, I wasn't sure what it was when I dug it. I probably should have, because it was the only new thing I'd bought. But if you're here for sensible gameplay, you are in the wrong place. We just do what feels right here. I'm actually quite impressed with how easy it has got to mine through just the basic blue. Being only 4 hits now is quite a good change from before where we just couldn't break it no matter how much we tried. But it still doesn't feel good to mine through them, and it's definitely ones that we want to try and avoid instead. But saying that, more iron and more gas. Again, we do only need an extra 170 to max that out, which will be this run, and we might even get the 150 ore we need to max that as well, if we're sensible and break through. Especially considering that one block gave us like 60. That's insane! Jesus! How did we avoid that for so long? Why am I not so sensible? Oh my lord. We have now actually just got down far enough to see the next level of stone, being that it goes that weird pinky hue, but we still struggle to break through the blue. I don't think we're quite ready to go there yet, but 760 dirt and 400 iron. That iron upgrade is locked, so these locked ones are just not available in the demo yet, so we'll have to come and look at this again once it's out. But we can max out our fuel, we can add boomstones, which are just explosive blocks, increase our shockwave damage up by 2, but I don't think that one works either. Increase our shockwave radius, that doesn't look like it works, and increase the boomstone explosion damage, and we might as well add some more dynamite explosion damage. Nowhere currently seems to use ore, so we just want a ton of dirt this run. Fortunately, just to get a ton of dirt, I do just have to mine things and just not really run into the ore blocks. So it isn't a particularly difficult situation for us to be in. We can see that there's quite a lot of mine left around us, that there are going to be upgrades in the future that we will be able to get to make the mine incredibly big. All these fuel upgrades have made it so that we can absolutely decimate this mine. Look how many resources we got. We got nearly 1900 dirt and 200 iron. The iron was pretty passive. We weren't aiming for any of it. And because of that, we can max out our fuel stone spawn chances, max out the non-working shockwave damage, increase the mineable terrain width up to 11 blocks, add an extra boomstone spawn rate, max out the non-working damage on it, up our explosion damage, and we are so close to having a maxed out skill tree. We just again need a little bit more dirt. But look how actually wide this mine has got. Quite impressively big. I'm trying to avoid grabbing that fuel box just yet because I don't really want to waste the fuel, but we're going to have to grab it now. It gave us what, 4 or 5 fuel, so it's not a huge amount, but every little bit of fuel helps us. We have found that chest that is listed in the upgrade. Finally found an artifact. I'm not sure what it did because I didn't look. I just saw it saying that it was locatable in the mine. Honestly, I am impressed that we did actually manage to find it, and the fact that it was only about 45 deep, pretty solid. And our first boombox, which just seems like the dynamite but bigger, so definitely an upgrade. Not sure how much I would particularly put that above anything else, but you know, free explosions are always good. But that is another one done with 1600 dirt and another 250 unneeded iron, but that got us an extra dynamite when thrown. We can max out our boom boxes, max out our dynamite explosion damage and the radius, and that, as you can see, is a fully maxed out skill tree. This has been Diggin, which demo is available in the link in the description down below. It is still only coming soon, so if you add it to your wish list, you will get notified once it is available to come out. I hope you've had fun, and I will see you in the next one.